Are you troubled because people come to your website but bounce right away? Maybe you know how to attract people to your website, but you simply can't make them stay. Wait for it. We'll shake it off. Sorry about that, everybody. I had to do it. For those of you who are Swifties, you get it. For those aren't, you'll never get it. Today, we're going to talk about one of my pet peeves with respect to design and development of a website. We're going to talk about the UX and UI and why it's so critically important that you understand what to do and how to do it to make sure people come to your site, they feel they resonate, and how to find things easily. And so today we're going to start a series of conversations actually, because we realize this can't be covered in one session. We're going to have about 5 or 6 blogs to cover UX and UI over the course of this next month. But let's start today with the main navigation, because that is the centerpiece of what people need to, how many people need to navigate your website. So what is UX and what is UI? UX is user experience and UI is user interface. And it really is sets the framework of how people interact with your website. And you need to make sure it's intuitive. You need to make sure it's easy to understand. And today we're going to talk about some of the critical errors that people seem to make. And I'm not talking about startups. I'm not talking about small businesses. I'm talking about some really significant companies. And we're going to talk about my number one pet peeve, period, of UX UI on a website. And I've seen it done more often than not, where people will include in the navigation bar, there's links to their social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever it is. You go in the navigation bar, you find right at the top, the choices you can make is click on one of those icons. Why is that such a problem? Why is that wrong? You spend all your time, energy, talent, and possibly money to drive people to your website where they have the opportunity to learn about your unique value proposition. And what's the first thing you do? Give them a path to leave. Now, I've had some people say, well, no, you don't understand. When they click on these icons, what it does, it opens up a new window. So they're not leaving the site. Yes, they are. They're going to go to that new window, and maybe they're not going to come back. So do not include social icons in your main navigation or header. There's only one exception that I've ever found that makes sense to me to have the social icons in your main navigation. That is where you are a social influencer who makes your money on places like YouTube or Twitter or Threads or Instagram or TikTok. Then I get it. You want people to leave that website and go where you make money. But unless you are a social influencer who makes their living and makes their income through social media content on one of these platforms, do not make the mistake of putting it in your link. Second thing I want to talk about in the main navigation is be intuitive, okay? It should make logical sense, okay? I've seen a lot of companies try to be avant-garde, try to be creative, try to be unique, try to be special. I've seen companies just, it's confusing. And unless you're an Apple, where people are going to stay no matter what and figure out no matter what, you need to make it as easy as possible. What does that mean? Tradition. Stick with it. Logo on the left side, main navigation links in the middle, and the CTA on the right-hand side. That is how people are used to seeing a website. Do not try to be unique or special. You're not, okay? If you are, well, if you're Apple, I apologize, okay? Be concise, okay? What does that mean? I've seen lots of companies have 2 layers on the main navigation, or have, 10 items going across, 14 items going across. They're all crowded together. It's hard to figure out. When you click on one, you're not even sure you're getting it. You should never have more than 7. Ideally 4 or 5, but never more than 7 in that main navigation. It just doesn't work. And a little pro tip here, and I only mention this because a seemingly well-established marketing agency, which I was working with a little bit about a month ago, wanted to put the word home in the main navigation bar, because they thought, well, maybe the user will not know how to get back to the home page. Guys, that's a 1990, 1993 thought process. By now, everybody, and I mean everybody, knows you hit the logo, you go back to the home page. So don't waste one of your spaces with the word home. It just isn't worth it, okay? So be informative, okay? What do I mean by be informative? Okay, you only have 7 slides, so make sure that each one of those links is descriptive of what's going to be in that category. Make sure they're major themes that you're going to populate below. So how do you know what major themes to use in the main navigation? Well, some of it's convention. Okay, some things you want to just do because it makes sense. The word blog, I always do that because I want people to find it easy to develop our content. But resources, all these different things that you have, make sure you have it in those in the main navigation. But the real key is what your buyer personas expect to see and need to see when they come to your website. Those should doing your buyer persona interviews and process should dictate to you the UX UI of your website. In fact, should dictate everything. Okay. Let's say though, you have 7 items that you've figured out, but you got a lot of additional categories and topics that you need. For example, the resources. You have ebooks, you have videos, you have infographics, you have webinars, you have podcasts, you have all these things that are important for people to see. I get it. We want them to see it. So have a drop-down mega menu. What does that mean? When they hit the button, the icon, they drop down, they'll see every one of their choices in that category. You can immediately find where they're going. No more than 2 deep, but if you do that, it'll make that navigation seamless. They'll have no problem finding it. Okay, what else? Main navigation, be sticky. What do I mean by that? Make sure that the navigation slides down the page as you scroll, so it's always there available. What are the advantages? I never have to figure out how to get to where I want to go. The CTA, which you're going to include in the main navigation, is always there, so I can always click on it. Make sure your menu is sticky so it automatically navigates down the page as you go. Be helpful. I mentioned the CTA. Always have a CTA in the main navigation on the right-hand side. Make sure it is not passive, like let's talk. Well, what's that mean? Make sure it's something that is, demo or whatever it is, your real call to action, a bottom of the funnel call to action. Okay. Because that's really when people are ready to do that, they'll see it, they can click on it. A place for middle of the funnel and top of the funnel CTAs is not in your header. That is always bottom of the funnel. Okay. Be accessible. That, I mean, use the colors and make sure it makes sense with your whole scheme. Make sure it's easy to figure out, when you click on something, it changes colors, but understand that some people are colorblind. So make sure that the colors aren't the only indication you have that someone has clicked on there, where they're at. Make sure it's underlined or something like that, that people can understand who are colorblind where it's at. Be responsive. Navigation bars need to be responsive. People on desktop, I'm guessing the number now, about 40% of the people on the website traffic use desktop. The rest, about 58% use mobile device, and the rest use tablets. So if you only build it to a desktop criteria, you're going to be leaving out the majority of people who come to your website. So what happens where you can't have that main navigation on your phone because you just can't? Menu, a hamburger menu. Okay, guys, we're all used to those 3 lines. You click on it, it opens up the possibilities. Everyone understands what those 3 lines are now. You do not have to do anything more creative than do that. So these are some of the top tips, if I can, for the main navigation. Tomorrow, we're actually going to continue this theme. We're going to talk about what I consider to be the most valuable piece of real estate that you own. And I'm not talking about your house. I'm not talking about where you have your corporation offices or manufacturing facilities. Yes, those are valuable. But as far as I'm concerned, one of the most valuable pieces of real estate you own is the header on your website. So tomorrow we're going to talk about the header, how to use it properly, some of my pet peeves that you need to avoid. Until then, thank you for your time. If you have more questions, please go to our blog on the website where I've covered some of this more detailed. If it doesn't answer your questions, or if you need something specific about your pain points, concerns, or interests, give us a call, send me an email, fill out the form. Be glad to talk to you individually. Doesn't cost you to have a conversation with us. And maybe we can impart some wisdom and information that might help make all the difference in the world in your business. So until tomorrow, I want to thank you for your time. If you liked what you're hearing, if you want more of what you're hearing, please do me a favor. Please like, please subscribe, please follow, whatever it is on the platform you're seeing this on. And please comment. I'd love the comments, guys, and I will respond to the comments in some form or fashion. Thank you. Have a great day.